Hello, Melanated Nation. It is my pleasure to come to you one more time for another installment of Speaking in General. Ooh, the topic today. Mm. I still at this moment don't have a title. Um, well, yeah, I do. I do have a title. And I'm just going to call it Of No Consequence. Of No Consequence. When you hear that term, oh, that's of no consequence. Like, what it really means is something that's irrelevant. Like, oh, that's irrelevant. Oh, that's not important. Of no consequence. It doesn't have any bearing or importance on what's being discussed, what needs to happen, whatever. Yeah, it's of no consequence. Lately, there's been a number of things that has. I mean, just be honest with you. The movement is being tested. The movement is being tested on a multitude of levels. Um, just in my own personal analysis, when I look at the movement where it's at right now and the tests that are coming against it, the challenges that are coming against it, um, the developments that are being that is being, I guess you could say, enacted to create. It's almost like the movement is going through some level of test, reformation, recreation. It's a weird place right now for the revolutionary movement, and some people may not even see it that way. Again, this is my own personal analysis on how I'm looking at some of the things that I'm aware of, the things that I've been discussing with a multitude of people. Um, I know some time ago um, there was a multitude of concerns going around about certain individuals within the movement exacting their authority and doing things which were most inappropriate. Um, there were all kinds of different allegations, stories, rumors, conjecture, whisperings of things of sexual indecency, thefts, um, just people using authority and advantage in this movement quite inappropriately. Many have made complaints. Some have felt very dissatisfied with the lack of sanction, consequence, or even addressing the matters of their concerns, whether it's been one of abuse. I mean, just a litany of impropriety throughout, regardless of the organizations and stuff like that or whatever. And I'm going to do my best. I really am. I'm going to do my best to not disservice any organization by calling any names and stuff like that or whatever. But as I speak and as I talk about certain matters, um, you those who know. All right. There's been some information come about of late about an alleged series of actions dealing with a a respected member of the high ranks, and there's a lot of conversation going around like, where do you stand on it? Where do you stand? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's like, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Uh, those scruples, it's never easy. It isn't. It's never easy. It's always harder when you have a connection to a person or some people that are um, that are being highlighted for some alleged actions that are of ill repute. Whether it's something that is currently going on or something that may have dissolved into the background that has now been given new life. And it's like, whoa, okay. Now that that's been resuscitated, what are we going to do about it? Because apparently it appears or may appear that um, the information that has come out in some way I guess you could say, hasn't been dealt with or hasn't been brought to a level of satisfactory closure by the way it's been being presented. And so now that it's been given this new life for, I guess, critique, conversation, analysis, it's like, okay, what are we going to do about it now that additional people are in the know? What are we going to do about it? Well, but before I get into that, let me do this. Um, I'm gonna try to keep this short. We have all experienced in our lives some level of policy or engagement where the things of our yesterday or even today have an impact on the relationships that we may have, whether a personal relationship, business, um, even in some cases spiritual. And I'm gonna touch on that. Um, just for me, for example, I work in securities, not a security guard and stuff like that or whatever, but I do securities, whether it's network securities, infrastructure securities, cameras, access control. You know, you go to work and present your badge and all that kind of stuff. The gates that go up and down, the fire alarm systems, and all kind of different networks and stuff like that. That is my industry. That is what I am a professional in, and I'm licensed in that industry. Some years ago, I was working when I was new to the industry. This is after the military in the 90s. I was working after I did all of that for Dell. I got more into the security side, the infrastructure security side, and I started working for Brinks Home Security. When I worked for Brinks Home Security, you do the application and stuff like that. Where they hire you, they make sure they do the background check on you, make sure everything is good, and that you can be licensed in the industry. In Texas, I was licensed by the Texas Board of Private Investigators. They got a long name, but that's who licenses you and gives you the permissions to operate in the industry. At that time, because you have the clearances to get in areas of businesses, and that some people who've been employed for the company for 20 years never get a chance to get into. Um, I was working on Nations Bank before they became Bank of America, doing bank vaults. Back then, there was still money in vaults. Like we doing all kind of stuff, like doing bank vaults, cameras, the push the panic buttons, and all that. We were doing all of that. Well, one day they called me in the office. They called me in the office and said, "Hey, we have a situation." I was like, "What's the situation?" And y'all see where all of this is going in a second. They said, "What's the situation?" They said, "Well, your background came back and there's some discrepancies on it." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Now, mind you, I had a background in New York, an extensive one. But the condition of all of that being sealed was if I went to the military, they would seal my record. I was facing 11 years, but they sealed my record to give me an opportunity, you know, to just restart life. So I'm thinking, I don't have any record. That's done. They said, "Well, we're going to have to suspend you until you can bring us back proof." Now, mind you, to me, I was proof positive. I had my military ID, all of that. Like, wait a minute, you already know. There's no way I could have went to the military having a current, I guess you could say, anything outstanding criminal. Now, my conversation may have been true. I could have just, no, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm wrong for that. You see, I've been in the military. I done served the country. I done did all of this. Like, I left New York and got into the service. So clearly I couldn't have had anything criminal. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to swear in. That's true. Even though that is true, and it is by way of, I guess you could say, virtue of information, yes, the employee could look at it like, yeah, well, I mean, you make a good argument, but do you have evidence? See, it was the evidence that they needed, not just my word. I had to prove that. And I explain why that's important in a second. So I had to fly to New York. I had to fly to, first I called because what they gave me was a list of codes. They didn't because in Texas, let's just say 187. A 187 in New York may be jumping a turnstile. All right, jumping a turnstile or petty theft or something, whatever. It could mean anything. It could mean assault. While in Texas, a 187 could mean child endangerment, kidnapping. So they was like, we got all of these codes that came up on your record. We need to know what these codes are and what the disposition of it is, and we need that from New York. So I had to fly to New York. I was married at the time. Told my wife it was up. I had to fly to New York. Went to Queens Courthouse where the deal was made for me to go to service. And what they did was they was like, how did Texas get this? Your record is sealed. I said, I don't know. And I showed them from the board what they gave me and what they needed. And they was like, I was there for about 3 hours. They had to go into the basement and dig my record up out of boxes. They had to find it. They was like, that was before the days of computer and all that, whatever. This was in the 90s. So they go dig my record up. And then they matched all the codes and they gave me this paper showing. Then I had to see a judge. Because come to find out, the clerk, who was a lady at the time, they said, didn't fill out the paperwork correctly. And literally in New York, I had a warrant out for my arrest. I had a warrant out for my arrest because some of the charges, there was matters of restitution in those charges. And some of them I had to do, they had me down as community service, but all of that went away. Right. So they had the charge on there. Like I had a warrant out for my arrest because I didn't do community service. So I had to see a judge. They put me in front of the judge immediately because I had a flight to leave in 3 hours. I had a flight to leave like 3 hours later from JFK. I saw the judge. The judge was like, Mr. Johnson. He's like, what? I said, and I told him, explained to him the situation. And he was like, how did Texas find this? I said, I don't know. I don't know how Texas. I don't know how. It's Texas. Signs everywhere. Don't mess with Texas. There's a reason for that. So he was like, okay, look. He was like, you went to the service? I went in my leather jacket at the time because it was cold. It was about winter time. And I showed him my military ID. He said, I don't understand. So he was looking and they saw the error of the clerk. And he said, Mr. Johnson, I apologize. Thank you for your service. And you heard all the people, because it was a packed courtroom, all the people were like, damn, that's messed up. You had to fly off. He said, so you had to fly all the way here? I said, yeah. They needed the physical proof from the courts showing that what the disposition of these were. So long story short, they gave it to me, whatever, saluted me, thank you for my service and all that kind of stuff, whatever, and apologized profusely about all of it, that I had to even pay to come there and do all of that, whatever. I go back to Texas. I give them the information. And right, long story short, I got reinstated. Now, why did I go through all of that? I get it, brother, sister. Sometimes we have situations that we don't want to, I guess you could say, dispel all the dirty details. We don't want to go back down that road. We don't want to entertain that embarrassing fiasco, whether it's lies or whether it's true. The bottom line is we all want to be able to have the opportunity to be like, man, that was my past. I ain't dealing with that no more. I'm dead with it, whatever. However, the relationships that we have, all right, require some level of evidence. And this is why I say this. As an employer, I have company insurance, all right? Because of the nature of what I do as an employer, the securities, my guys go in federal buildings, schools, all kinds of stuff, nursing homes, Air Force bases, Army bases. We do work everywhere. And even though the licensing and all of that is under my personal government name, so my company is licensed, insured, and on certain projects even bonded. Now, what that means is because of those parameters to operate, I cannot, even if I wanted to, you know, Raheem, Jerome, Shaniqua, whatever, then has a few missteps in life, and they're like, "Yo, brother, give me an opportunity, train me, teach me, whatever." And guess what? Even though I would like to, my insurance won't allow me, my bonds won't allow me to have anybody on staff that has crimes of what they call moral turpitude, thefts, a lot of thefts. That's why you can hire people who got more drug offenses quicker than you can with somebody who just stole a credit card twice, because it's moral turpitude, the endangerment of somebody else's welfare. You took their identity, you cause all kind of things, this, that, and the other. It's mischief. That's how the system looks at it. That's not my rules. So because of that, you can't bring them on. Now you may ask, well, what does this all got to do with the evidence? I'll show you. When I took that information back to Brinks, that's when I learned about the whole insurances and securities and stuff like that. The employer has a relationship with the insurer. We'll cover you, we'll back you, we'll cover all your employees and this, that, and all of it, your equipment, this, that. But you can't have people on staff that have a track record of doing illicit acts against humanity. Sexual immorality, murder, and theft are really the primary ones. You can have 40,000 speeding tickets, nobody would care. You can have been in and out of jail for drug use or whatever and paraphernalia. They don't really care about that. But moral turpitude, assaults, aggravated assaults and stuff like that or whatever, it's like, wait a minute, it's questionable on how you engage with humanity. That's how they look at it. So I had, even though I myself, with the presence of my military record and this, that, and other that they had to bring the evidence back to those who they are in partnership with. Now, what does this have to do with the militia? What does this have to do with the 2A movement? In the 2A movement, we have a responsibility to the nation that we're trying to help build, that we're trying to protect. We have to tell the nation that the fabric of those that stand as vanguard, you are protected in our presence. The people that are here are not also people here that will do you harm, that will do wrong by you, to you. That these are not people that are in our ranks, but they're just deviants waiting for the opportunity to strike. So you're comfortable with us because in our partnership with you, we have insured you, and you can have the insurance in us that there will be no moral turpitude. Now, there's a slippery slope with that, and we're going to get into that. So the evidence was necessary that I had to bring. I could have stood on my word, right? And felt great. Like, nah. Y'all know the truth. Y'all see, those acts happen in 19 such and such. This is now 19 such and such. This is after the fact. I done served the country and everything. That ain't even legitimate no more. But because of the relationship they have with the insurance and the bonders, they need that. They need that to say, no. This guy, I know that came up. I know y'all heard about this coming up, but here's the evidence that he's been exonerated of that. I know you heard the news, but you only heard it in part. He told us, we went to him about it, and then he brought us the evidence that he's cleared of this. So guess what they did? Because the evidence was there, not just my words, not what I felt was enough. They said, we reinstate you. You see what I'm saying? So when we have these things that come up, all right, brothers and sisters, we all have some level of indiscretion in our past. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is. But when it comes to certain things, it requires some level of evidentiary clearance. you can't just have the disposition where, look, man, I don't give a fuck. Y'all believe what y'all want to believe. No, whoa, wait a minute. Not to say that anybody's presented that. I'm just saying in general, nobody can have that attitude that, look, I'm at peace with it. That's y'all trip. Now wait a minute, because if we're going to be here as individuals to service the people, to help build a nation, and understand that our placement as individuals to work on a collective, uh, uh, to work as a collective, is necessary for the people, then you can't. Then nobody can have a selfish attitude like that. It requires that. Um, I shamelessly talk about my past because I am I'm glad I went through what I went through and had to pay the dues in order to get to where I am, to get to life's restoration. So because I'm responsible, and we have to be responsible or able to respond to these issues that come up. Now, here's the scruples. Here's the difficulty that we have, that I've been noticing. There's some that, whether they're members of down ranks or even in the upper echelon of authority, that are opting to favor uh, relationship rather than making decisions that may be best for the collective. So I give an example. That, like I said, there's a lot of things that's rocking us right now with information's coming out, and some are saying, "I don't care about the information. I don't." Be honest, some are saying, "I don't give a fuck what is out there. I'm rolling with such and such." I understand that to a degree. As human beings, we have, I guess you could say, emotional connections, um, that are built over time. But the truth of the matter is the responsibility and the call to duty cannot be measured on based on what you as a leader or you as a participant in an organization feel emotionally. There has to be a an ethical an ethical to office decision made, not based on what you feel as an individual. um I give you an example. No, I don't have to give no examples. um should I or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? I'll probably do it later. I'll probably say it later. I was gonna go down the road and anyway, but I'll say this: there was a not too long ago, there was some, I guess you could say, some murmurings going around about some of the sisters in different organizations. Um, One in particular, having a very sore um, disposition about the dissatisfactions that they had about complaints uh, on brothers that were enacting levels of sexual impropriety, uh, uh, abuses, or whatever, and they felt as though the matters within this organization were not being adhered to, taken seriously, and many of them felt slighted and rejected from the securities, protections, and even defenses that they thought they would have in their organization. Um, it is reasonable for the sisters to feel in these works that are inundated mostly by men that there would be a measure of kings protecting them. And they didn't feel that. They felt slighted instead. That the upper echelon of leadership had this blase attitude about, like, I ain't kind of a what the fuck ever attitude, right? So, and since then, since then, all churning throughout the rumor mill and the chatter sphere. There's all kinds of other things that have developed and are, I guess you could say, being whispered about, concerns about certain things that have come to light and the nature of the egregious charges alleged. And so now the I guess you could say the atmosphere is one like, where do you stand on it? Are you in support of the individual, or are you in the interest of the cause? See, so that's what's happening now. All of these conversations, text messages, and stuff like that, they're happening from early morning to late night. They are happening. All right. Where do you stand? Are you gonna ride? Or are you gonna do the right thing? You know, all trust me, it's happening. So, and it's crazy because so many people are asking me, "What you gonna do, Desmond? What you gonna do?" I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Hey, this is all new for me. Wait, hold on, wait. Uh, and I don't mean to take such a serious matter with matter of jest, but it's just that's what's going on. That's what's going on. So let's get back to the understanding of why I presented that analogy, why I presented that, and why it is necessary for, in this interest of the relationship, that evidences are necessary. I don't believe that based on allegation, somebody should just be cut off, blocked, thrown away. No, because when you do that, you render a judgment prematurely. When you start just hacking people up, throwing people out, spitting them out, wait a minute, whoa. Because there's all kinds of information. Now, I do believe that there needs to be a distinction. Like, wait a minute, just like I learned, while you're going with this, there is an understanding, there's an understandable separation. But it's given so you, sister, so you, brother, could present yourself to the people on the other side of these allegations that are old or that are new, with information, so we can all make informed decisions about what to do with our relationship going forward with you. That impulsive, rash to judgment, I don't believe that that's wise, because I had assault charges. I hurt somebody. I hurt this dude bad. Okay, I did. Really bad. All right, I did. And when I first got out of jail, that information was fresh, like wet ink. So anybody, by the time they entered the last digit of my social security number, bam, there you go. And I was on parole too. Oh my goodness. So I remember when I first got out, there was a I needed a job. I lost all my security clearances, everything, and I still had my technical certifications. I was highly certified in a lot of different areas in network, token ring systems, A+, all of that, different camera systems, access control systems. I was in different classes all the time. But my state licenses for contracting, securities and stuff like that, background clearances, all of that was stripped. And according to Texas law, I couldn't get any of those back until 20 years after the final date of my closeout sentence. So I was like, if I'm on parole for 18 months, and then at 22 years, I gotta wait to get back in my industry. That's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, but that's Texas law. So I got an interview. I saw this place, it was right off of Palmer Lane. I was driving down 35 and I saw it was a gas station. I just needed real work. And there was a gas station called Speedy Stop, and it said, now hiring smiling faces. I pulled in there. And I said, man, I'm gonna just try. I was just like, man, I just need something. I was used to making at that time in the '90s. I was making almost 100 grand a year. I was rolling, and then now I got nothing. My bank account cleaned out, and everything. A lot of things happen when you locked up. All right, all my $10,000 watches and all that gone, 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 gone. $250,000 worth of CD collection gone. Anyway, they was like hiring smiling faces. So I went in there, and the lady was like, she said, it gets to that line, that line. Have you been convicted of? Oh shit! And I'm like, and I just clicked yes, this, that, and the other, whatever. Now, mind you, when I already gave the lady my information, all right, she stepped away while I was filling out some other stuff. So when she came back to me, she looked at the rest of the application that I filled out, and she said, I noticed here that you say that you um, are a convicted felon. And I said, yes, ma'am, I am. I said, I'm currently on parole right now. I said, I just got out a few months ago, and I'm just trying to just start my life back. I said, I don't have any family here. I said, so I got to survive here while I'm on parole till I can leave the state. And she says, what did you do? I said, well, there was a guy. I thought he was messing with my wife. And I followed him to a store. And I unleashed hell. It was on a videotape. I left the store before the cops came. And it was all on videotape. And they didn't need much. And that was it. And she was like, okay. She says, you know what? I know that already. I said, you do? She says, I ran your record already when you gave me the information when you sat down. She says, but I just wanted to see if you would lie. She says, and you told me the truth. Now, this was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady in Texas looking at this New York City slicker who just got out of prison for assault charge with 18 months of parole. And this is what she told me. She says, because you were honest with me, she says, I don't see you as one of my clerks. And I was like, okay. Because I went in there to try to just get like a counter job, or I didn't care if I could just sweep a broom and mop the floor. I just wanted something. I like working. I'm not a lazy dude, but I was like, okay. She says, I actually see you as one of my managers. I was like, okay. She was like, I want you to start immediately. She says, I have a couple of stores, and I think you'll be a good fit in running my stores. Now, I was like, okay. So she said, she gave me the address, the place it was like near Georgetown, like out by Round Rock or whatever. And she said, I want you to call this gentleman. She says, and I want you to start immediately for training, for managerial training. Now, I didn't take the job because a colleague of mine found a loophole that I could do some stuff. I was doing drafting instead, making blueprints and stuff like that or whatever. I couldn't go out to sites because I couldn't be allowed on sites because I was convicted and had all of that, whatever. But I could do blueprints and stuff like that. I could engineer projects. So, I was able to do that. So I took that opportunity instead because that was more in my lane anyway, not so much being a gas station attendant. But I said that to say that the honesty of me owning my experience opened up doors. I know a lot of times that we go through things and we don't want to regurgitate all the devil in the details. I get it, bro. I get it, sis. But in the interest of your forward progression and the relationships that require that level of transparency, you're just going to have to take your wounds in the front. You're going to have to do that. Listen, I get it. Now, here's another part of this. That has to be entertained. Okay, I'm trying to hurry up with this. There's another part of this that has to be entertained. those of you who are leaders, you have a responsibility to ensure the safeties, peace of mind to those within your down ranks. It don't matter if such and such is your homegirl, such and such is your homeboy, this, that, and the other, whatever. You have a responsibility to run a reputable organization with standards. Now, I get it. In our community, some of us all got some level of stain. And that's where the scruples come in. Like, okay, do we let this person serve and not this person? Well, this person did this crime, but this person did this. Who's better? The drug dealer who rose to the level of kingpin that totally decimated a community, broke up families, turned mothers into whores, and this, that, and the other? He's okay to be in the ranks. Took money, had people get evicted because he put them on that narcotic and got them doing all that kind of stuff. Had people shot, killed, whatever, so he can advance his territory. Is he okay to be in the ranks? But the dude who was 17 slept with a girl 16, but the state looks at it as, oh, that's rape. So now he has a conviction that he has to forever for his life register, no matter where he goes. Her daddy got mad because brought shame on the family, and they found out, oh, he's 17, I'm pressing charges. His daughter will be 16 in a month. So now this young man, now, of course, now he's 35. He comes to you. I want to be a soldier. I want to be in your ranks. What do you tell him? Nah, man, you a sexual fucking deviant. But you, Kingpin, fall in line. See, so we have these scruples now. Now, I do understand there's certain things. Now, understand. I'm not advocating for that, for that situation, for the sexual situation, because there's other things with that. And I was talking to a brother the other day. There's something about sexual immorality, the crimes or the crimes of sexual immorality, grown people having pedophilia, sleeping with children, or rape. It's been clinically found. It ain't my thing, but there's been studies done on humanity, regardless of race, origin of the planet, whatever, on humanity, that the mind, somehow or another, I don't know all the ins and outs, it ain't my thing, it ain't even my interest, but they figured out that when somebody can get to the point of doing those kind of things, a history of being a pedophile, social deviant, just another, sodomizers and stuff like that, and rapists, that they have the hardest road to, I guess you could say, repentance or recovery. And that's why they have them monitored, that they got to register everywhere, because there's something about the psychosis of it all, the psychological aspect that people can give up drinking, drugging, stuff like that or whatever, but studies have been done that people who commit those type of acts, that's why you don't see nobody that got to go register. Well, I robbed 20 people over the span of 10 years, all armed robbery charges. They don't have to register nowhere. Well, I did white collar crimes and stuff like that or whatever, embezzlement. They ain't got to register nowhere. I done had 500 fights over the last 2 years and beat them all to shit. They ain't got to register nowhere. But the sexual deviant does, and there's a reason for that. I didn't make up the rules. Don't be mad at me. There's been reports that there are some amongst some organizations, that there are individuals within the ranks of organizations that have this sordid past. And I'm not talking about he or she was one age difference from the person that they had sex with, whatever. But we're talking about actual rapes on record that have not been disputed, refuted at all. When you are a leader and you are an organization and you have that within your ranks, you defraud the people's trust. I don't care who you are. Things like that, it should, again, there needs to be some evidence that speaks against the allegation. Nobody is a respecter of persons where they can circumvent this need for transparency and clarity. Nobody. No organization, no person, no leader, no downchain member. If you have issues in your ranks, in your organization, individuals that meet the criteria of, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Well, guess what? It has to. Again, don't discard them, but put them on a mission. Wait, before we go any further, in order for the people's trust to be established in both you and the organization that houses you, you have to present some evidence. And just your opinion or verbal defense about it is not enough. You got to do like I had to do. You got to take a flight. You got to get some paperwork, because that's why they call it paperwork, because the paper works. You have to present. Like, wait a minute, here's the case. Here's the situation. Here's what I went through. Here it is. And I get it. You don't feel like being on trial all over again. But I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, before I got my rights restored, listen, I now hold 4 state licenses, 4 unrestricted state licenses. I do work in public safety offices, police stations, sheriff's offices, judges, courthouse, federal contracts, all of it. Now, how did I get there? I had to constantly tell my story. When I went, my first state license was Georgia. It took me almost 10 months to even be approved. I had to get my FBI record. I had to fingerprint, send it off to the FBI, pay the $80 or whatever, get that from the FBI. I had to get the FBI record. I had to get all my stuff from New York, even though it was sealed, get all that stuff from New York. I had to get references from industry. I had to do all of that. And I had to write out in a professional essay for the board the matters in which took place in Texas that got me my conviction. I had to do all of that. I had to do all of that because I wanted my life back. And I got tired of being the person that always gotta explain. So now what I did, okay, you got that big C, that conviction. All right. So here goes the information. Now I'm gonna tell you something. What helped me was I already had a career prior to the act. Prior to my act of losing my cool and going upside dude's head and just really berserking the fuck out, I already had a career. I was already working in industry, this, that, and other for years. I've worked with Michael Dell and all of that, whatever. I put in the hell. I even made the governor's mansion in Texas Y2K compliant. I met George Bush Jr., his wife, his daughters, all of that, right there downtown Austin. Yeah, I've had a stellar career before the indiscretion, so that helped. Plus prior service military, so all of that helped me get the restoration that I needed. It's more difficult when you don't have anything to stand on except for a history of impropriety. It hurts. It hurts. you need something. So in this work, in this 2A work, we're not looking for you to have a stellar background. All we need is a clarity. So we know that, sis, bro, we know you went through something. We know that there are people that are looking to tear down the movement at any chance they get. They would dig up whatever. They like moles. They would dig and sift you out. But in order for you to quiet that riot, you have to present information. Because the truth of the matter is, and it should be like this, this should be the standard. If you, sister or brother, are one that comes up with all of these things, and you're in a position of maybe even leadership even, and you have a refusal to address or refusal to satisfy the people's trust, then respectfully you should bow out. And if you are a leader and you got one in your ranks like this, you should bow them out, because we need to have that level of trust. I don't want any of my brothers or sisters in my organization out there alongside those that are just looking for the creep. And quiet as kept, some are saying that the rumor mill, there's a lot going on in the rumor mill and the chatter, all this stuff going on, that some who have these, I guess, alleged past of indiscretion are still enacting some of those negative virtues, even in their own ranks. That's the rumor. Again, it ain't happening over here. It ain't happening over here. I suggest that before the attitude of no consequence, like there's no consequence over here, meaning you don't care, it's irrelevant, it ain't pertinent, whatever. I suggest that every organization has a strict, signed by government name, notarized policy on things like this. You need to anchor in on the people's trust. What time is it? Okay, I still got a few more minutes. You need to anchor in on the people's trust. You need to. We just can't have it. Listen again, brothers and sisters. I've been there. If you're one of those people that got this sordid past, and you're like, man, I'm tired of doing it. I'm telling you, I ain't gonna front. This been sometimes I cried in prayer, like, God, how many times do I got to keep on giving answer for this? I already did my time. Why the hell do I got to keep on? Why can't I be seen for the person that I was before the action? Yeah, I lost my cool, but God damn, why do I got to keep doing this? Why do I got to keep giving answer? Why do I got to keep giving response? Why do I got to keep but I had to get through it. I just had to get through it. Now I'm on the other side. Now I'm glad to tell the story, because it's nothing more now than a testimony. The first time I can buy guns. I can go to gun shows. People see me at gun shows all the time buying all kind of shit. I'm goody. I'm goody. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. But I think what helped me was because I was willing to face it. I didn't run from it. I was willing to endure, not evade. I didn't put my back to it and kick my dust up. I said, the hell with it, and I charged straight into it. I got a responsibility. I got to face this, whatever. This is part of the time, a part of my sentence. Hell, the 3 years that they gave me was just the jail time. I didn't realize for the damages that I've done, for the action that I've done, that there was another time that I had to put in. It was part of my sentence. It's called the redevelopment. I had to do it. I had to pay I had to pay so much money to get restored again. And now I'm good. And now I can give opportunities in different ways to those who went through maybe even half of what I went through. But you have to face it, bro. You have to face it, sis. And you organizations, I expressly speak to leaders, speaking in general. You cannot afford to have your character subdued by by I guess you could say click type standards. This my boy, I don't give a fuck. Man, I've been knowing this sister forever. Man, I don't give a fuck or I don't care what nobody say. To me, they good. Well, no, it ain't about you. To me, they alright. It's bigger than you. And if you have that attitude of nonchalance, you need to just remove your damn self. Because you're worse than the person you're protecting. Because the person that's being protected or the person that's protected, they rightfully like, long as such and such got my back, I'm good. But you in a position of leadership defrauding the people's trust. You are worse than them. And I say that with no bite of tongue. If you are a leader and you have no problem disrespecting the values of those that entrust you to be a leader and accountable to the people, and you have this dismissive, blasé attitude, you need to sit the fuck down and step the fuck off. And I say that most sincerely. We owe the people in leadership to be upstanding, of righteous report even. So if I find out that a brother or sister in my ranks has some type of level of deviancy that even the world knows to some level that brings pause because their moral compass has no true north, then I'm going to, whoa, bro, sis, I didn't know this was in your past. I have a responsibility. You could be the vice president. You could be the sergeant at arms. You could be the admin. You could be whatever. You could have been around ever since the days we started together in INFAC. But as of today, your ass is out until you bring something that can satisfy the people's trust. Again, you're gone. There is no debate. There is no, well, I know y'all heard about such and such was going on with such and such, but we talked about it. So I think we all good because me and them talked about it. No, hell no. Hell no, fuck no. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. And this is why we need to come up with a universal standard. Now, I don't have anything against any person. I don't have any, depending on what region of the map you're in, I don't have no beef. I don't have no plex. I don't have no issue, whatever, with any leader anywhere. But moral indecency and malfunctioning ethical compasses of individuals that are within the ranks, it needs to be checked. It needs to be checked. And here's another thing. You should not have a situation where somebody is in your ranks and other people are bringing to the attention and the awareness of those within your ranks as to what's within it. Nobody should, like, it would be disturbing if somebody came to me, if my admin or whatever, one of the soldiers came to me and said, Desert Eagle, Commander, I just got this. And they showing me the phone. I just got this. And it's a picture. It's a picture or a report background, a mugshot, whatever the case may be. And I don't care about mugshots. I don't care about it. I got several of them. Oh, mugshots, I got several of them. So I don't care about mugshot. What's important is disposition of case. People could spin narrative on a mugshot. Oh, they got arrested for, but then you come to find out if you look into the case, non-prosecuted. Police was fucking with him that day, whatever. The police was messing with her, him that day, whatever. Then all of a sudden they took a mugshot after they'd been roughed up and thrown all around a police car. They looking crazy, and somebody want to just, have fun with it and try to, whatever. I got plenty of mugshots. I believe out of all the mugshots I've ever taken in my life, maybe 2 are decent. Because I'm always getting into it with the cop. Get the fuck off me. Get off me. So all mine look crazy. All mine. All mine look. I was a wild boy. So all mine look crazy. Wild nights, late nights, I'm high, weed, whatever. All kind of crazy. So mugshot be damned. Who cares? But what's the case? Do they have a conviction? That's why even applications say, "Have you ever been convicted?" They don't ask you, "How many times have you been arrested?" It says, how many convictions or have you ever been convicted of? That's it. What is the final deal? Well, they've been arrested 40 times and there's not a conviction nowhere. Maybe they just got bad luck. Maybe they're just in the area. Maybe they just got a few cops that just let her harass people in their area. What? You mean that happens? Yes, all the time. So you got to know how to look at the matter, okay? But if somebody brought to me a matter, I'm sorry that hey, look, and they have an attitude, I'm not bringing shit. I'm not bringing no proof. Fuck that. No, fuck you. You gone. You are out. Oh, after all the time we done served together. All right, well, serve your ass out of here. I'm serving you walking papers. It's over. If you don't have the decency to say, you know what? I, as an individual, regardless of what leadership wants, regardless of what my immediate organization wants, I am responsible to the people where I am going to show them I can be trusted. So it's an honor to put myself before the people so they will see not only am I unafraid, but I'm honest. I can take it. I'm a true soldier. I'm a true warrior that I can step into this fight again. No, I don't like the details. No, I don't like the heat. But you know what? I'm here. So just about right at an hour, I would say this. My position on the current climate of things, about all the information going on and about, again, I'm not disassociating myself with anyone that's alleged or accused. What I am going to say is I would definitely, because again, now, if there is no corrective step to bring about clarity to the situation, to own it with some level of evidence to restore the people's trust, absolutely, I have to sever the ties. I have to sever the ties. Like I can't do that because, again, I'm responsible to a work, not the interpersonal relationship. I'm responsible to the work. Most certainly, I'm first responsible to the Most High. And the way that I govern myself will always be in line with the virtues, respects, and honors of the Most High. I will not compromise that for anybody's relationship at all. It just will not happen. If you are a leader or an organization and you continue or will continue to have relationships with individuals that are known and that have not cleared up their stance, cleared up their issues, then just like the insurance company, when it comes to securities and stuff like that, you will be dropped. You will be dropped. And for those of you who don't understand this, real quick, as a company, when you have employees and you have insurances on your employees, the reason why companies have policies that they enforce on their employees that they can't break is because that employer is in jeopardy of losing their insurances and stuff like that too. I had a situation where I had a white guy named Everett, and he was an excellent technician, trustworthy. He's one of my guys that love to travel because we travel, we do work. We've gone all the way to Oregon, and we do work everywhere, and especially throughout the Southeast. Our main footprint is Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee. That we service all of that. So Everett kept getting in the car accidents. He was just irresponsible behind the wheel, and he was in my company vehicle. So I had AAA. So it got to the point AAA is paying out all of these hefty bounties to all of these people. One time he hit a lady in a drop top Lexus coupe at a red light. Like, motherfucker. It got to the point where AAA was like, if you want to keep on having this guy in your employ, we're going to have to drop you because you got somebody that's irresponsible. That we can't have this relate because you're costing us just to hold on to him. Just to hold on to this one employee, we done paid out, almost $34,000 in 2 cases. We still got another one pending. Either you drop him or we had to drop you. And so he didn't do anything to get fired. He didn't, because of the policies that we have. Of course, he had to do the probation, suspensions, and stuff like that, or whatever, but not yet termination. Because I'm looking at his value as what he do for me. I did how he make me the money. He make me the money. This one technician, I may pay him $22, $23 an hour, but he's closing out $20,000, $30,000 jobs in 2-3 days. So I'm weighing out my personal connection and my personal benefit. And so guess what AAA did? Drop. And what I had to do, in order for another company, because they dropped us, all the other companies out there, the reputable ones, they found that out. Oh, AAA dropped you because you had this, that, and the other, and several infractions, this, that, and the other. Well, for us to cover you and you still got that person in your employ, guess what? Nobody would even talk to me unless I dropped out about, I had to drop about $21,000 up front to Geico. Because I got several trucks and covering my tools and all kinds of, so I had to drop that out. See, that was me having sin in my camp. So for you leaders out there, is it worth it? Is the homeboy shit, is it worth it? It can't be of no consequence. It can't be of no never mind. Because there's a consequence when you say there's no consequence to me. No fucks given. Nah. Please, in all seriousness, sisters, brothers, if you have some level of indiscretion that you believe that's going to come up, nobody's saying that you got to 8 Mile yourself right now, but just get your ducks in order just in case any adversarial force against the movement pulls up something. You got it. Oh, I got mine. Shit, my stuff is out there on Atlanta Live. I've done spoken words about it. I've done interviews about it. I tell my story. I've been through it. Be the author of your own life. Don't let nobody tell your narrative. So just own it. And in some cases, unfortunately, we understand. Maybe you served as long as you could have served. You know, maybe we found out that, nah, brother, sister, this stop on this train, this is where you get off. This is where you get off. Because this is just too much. And every organization got to figure out how they want to do this on their own. I'm not the authority on how you run your thing. But I will say, for me to be in allegiance with you, partnership with you, parade with you, whatever. If you're going to be unethical, if you're going to be unethical in the way you run your ship, I cannot partner with that. I just can't. I owe the Most High, and I owe the Most High's people decency, respect, trust. And I just don't understand how any of you could be of any level of downchain or leadership where you can look at this and say all of that Most High stuff and give honor to God stuff and this, that, and the other, and then fight and argue to be unethical, to have justification in being indecent, making decisions of impropriety, tethering with relationships of repute. How could you do that and say that you represent the Most High? There's a contradiction. Let God be true and every man a lie. I make no apology for any level of any of you that want to see me as, well, fuck Desert Eagle. I'm not blocking nobody. I'm not nothing like that or whatever. I'm not doing that. Everybody gets an opportunity to make some level of restitution, to make some level of correction. The God that I served has brought me up from the ashes and the slums of nothingness. So who am I to look at a person and say, now that something's been brought to their attention, I got to cut them off until they deal with it. God didn't do that with me. I'm not going to do that with you. I'm not going to cut you off or cut you down. But what I am going to do is create a space and an opportunity for you to make it right. In your absence of making it right, I will make a choice. That's all. My sisters, my brothers, my leaders, make your call and election sure. Do what's right because it's right. Let's not have this continual conversation of all of this grit, grime, and slime in the movement because the movement don't want to move in the right direction of its correction. Let's not be of no consequence. Let's move consequential. Let's move in the way of correction. No. We're going to move with dignity, purpose. We're going to move with respect. Okay? Again, I'm not no conscious cop. I'm not enacting, bringing down the law like it's all about me or whatever, this, that, and the other. But again, principle. You have to enact the principles. I love all my brothers and sisters. And some of us have done some things by way of condition. I had an anger problem. That from childhood all up I had an anger problem. So I had to deal with that. I took anger management like 4 different times. I'm telling you, I had an anger problem. I had an anger problem. I did. I did. You just got to find out what the source of your demons are. Why you doing what you're doing and why, whatever. But that's a whole nother thing. But let's just, for our organizational stakes and our and the movement's sake and our people's sake. Man, I can't hear another sister say that she lost faith in this, that she doesn't have the trust anymore in the male leadership because it's a clique It's a brotherhood of buffoonery and indecency. You know, there's a scripture that says, expose the unfruitful works of darkness. You don't have fellowship with them. And I'm not saying anybody's dark here, anything like that or whatever. I'm just saying, if you just got some mess, just clean it up. Clean up your house so nobody can bring judgment against it. That's all. Create policies, have people sign them, so that way you can go ahead and have some level of consequence that you can render unto them. Oh, real quick before I close, speaking of which, number one, y'all all say it with me, please. It's 3 syllables. Just 3. Tribunal. That's all it is. 3 syllables. Tribunal. All this tribunals and all, I don't know what words y'all be coming up with. Y'all know us, though. We quick to make up something. And once somebody hears it, hey, that sounds good, I just roll with it too. She was talking about a tribunal. Yeah. We got one of those coming up. Tribunal. Come on. Tribunal. My mother used to tell me and my brother all the time, master the King's English. I'm a writer. I'm a reader. She had us reading and writing all the time, doing book reports on all kind of stuff. And, so anyway. But these tribunals, a tribunal, number one, tribunals are good for the exposure of information. It appears they have not been good at bringing about any level of consequence that has brought about any level of restitution or correction. I don't know what the ultimate answer is, but somehow or another, there has to be, if we're going to opt out of the Anglo-Saxon system of policing, turning one over to the judicial system and stuff like that, and handle it all in-house, then we have to, absolutely imperatively, must create a situation that can render consequence that can be felt. Now, I'm not talking about the laying of the hands. However, I'm not dismissing that either. All right. But what I'm saying is, you already know there's penalty in that system, that if you steal from somebody, you got to make restitution. You got to pay it back. There's possible jail time. And in the absence of you rendering the sanctions that was given to you, then there's additional consequences. Okay, well, we told you to pay this by such and such a date. We told you to do this, whatever. We gave you community service. You didn't do none of that. So now it holds a penalty of X, some level of incarceration. Well, I'm going to lose my apartment and I'm going to lose my job. Hey, that's the consequence of your actions. We need to also have within our system some level of consequential action for somebody's indiscretions against our people in-house. And we can't always be, the first thing can't always be, let's give them a case of the beats. That's just savagery. No, there needs to be some learning, because even in their system, even though it's corrupt and stuff like that, there is a method that's still within it to some level of cognitive reassessment, rehabilitation. It's like there's some level of rehabilitative steps for our brother or sister that may get a little wayward and did something, criminal. But there has to be a consequence that they can feel, that they really do feel it in their pocket. They really do feel it in the payment through time. They feel it by the sweat of their brow, and they may feel it with a foot in their ass. But there has to be a consequence. It has to be. That's tangible. Having these long tribunals and stuff like that is just discussing information. That's it. It's discussing information. Yeah, there may be some character assaults, but shit, after that, we might, They be like, man, fuck them for telling on you. You still my rider. Man, fuck them for telling on you. You still my sis. We good. You know, that, again, it doesn't work. Secondly, tribunals can only be held by those that are appointed in authority over the matter that relate to the matter as far as organization. I can't have a tribunal on, I just say the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys, I'm holding a tribunal. Who are you? Where did you come from? You're not part of this. Is, again, the first part of it is tribe. You have to be within the governing authority and or body and or organization in order to bring one on judgment. You can't be, again, these false sense of power is, again, we got to stop this slapstick bullshit. We got to get to a point where we're giving information, we're doing things, and we're doing things right. You know, even the Klan, even the KKK is an LLC. I mean, some of us got to get our organizations to right. You know what an organization is? Anytime you see that suffix Asian, Tion, that means something that is already done. Creation, all of creation, it's already created. Civilization is already civilized. Organization, that means you already got it. Come be a part of my organization. How do we contact you? No. Or use this email. It's playerpartner69@hotmail.com. That's POTNA. Player underscore partner69@hotmail.com. What's the name of your organization? Oh, we're the Black Fist. Why don't you have an organizational email? Oh, hey, we get into that. Where's your organization out of? Shit, we somewhere everywhere. So again, organization. You have something organized that's in place. So we need to just we need a standard of excellence. Okay? Just please, I'm sorry. I'm a businessman. I'm rigid that way with processes and stuff like that or whatever. In fact, we'll tell you, those who was in Georgia, I came up with the level system and this, that. I'm just organized that way. I like structure. You know what I'm saying? So I'm rambling now. Your indiscretions of the past, take authority over them. Leaders, organizations, don't defraud the people's trust. Create safe havens where they can respect and feel comfortable within your leadership and your ranks. And no matter what you go through, bruh or sis, no matter what accusation that people can bring up, no matter what level of your past and stuff like that, I will never disown you or discredit you as a brother or sister. But I will, and you have to respect this, I will, in the absence of any type of correction or anything else, I will have to modify the way that I engage with you. I don't have I may not be the one that go delving all into your past and your cases and stuff like that and read all the elements of what happened, what witnesses said, and this, that, and the other, whatever. I may only know you as the good sister or brother that I've come to meet. And maybe that's all I will ever know. I just know that if something is in your past to that point that is sorted and it makes you, I guess you could say, it puts you on the outs with the movement, I may still engage with you from time to time, some social media stuff, hey, what's up, whatever, but anything dealing with the work, no, not at all. Maybe the person that I met in you is a good person for other things. Maybe you're a good person that could just refer some business to me, or I could refer some business to you. But in this work or whatever, I just, no. I couldn't. And again, I got a lot of different camaraderies that I've developed. But if you are an organization or a leader that doesn't want to take the necessary steps of responsibility to put the charge out there for one that may be found in these type of situations. And they may be in your ranks or outside of your ranks, but you're still in fellowship with them. And if you do not put the charge on them to say evidence or rejection, if you don't do that, again, you leave me no choice but to make a choice. Respectfully. I love you all with the same love that God renders to me. I have no respect of persons, but I'm making a stance. So get it right. Present yourself. Represent yourself. Represent yourself by representing yourself with information. If you believe that you're a valuable soldier to the cause, you would do what is necessary in order for you to be within the ranks. Otherwise, I wish you the best, brother. I wish you the best, sister. Respectfully. Until next time, this is me, General Desert Eagle, speaking in general. Oh, I am going to try to, there's a few people that said they want to do some things with me, whatever. I haven't set up the platform just that. I'll probably spend this weekend doing that, setting it up so I can do the interviews and stuff like that or whatever. But yeah. Until next time, y'all stay melanated. Y'all stay black. Y'all stay African American. Y'all stay Negro. Stay whatever makes you comfortable, but stay within the presence of the Most High so He can guide you, love you, and protect you. All right? Peace and blessings.